What is going on, everybody? Today we're analyzing the tape of tackle Armand Membou, who I think might actually be the best tackle in the 2025 NFL draft, purely based off the tape. To me, when I put this guy's tape on, it's absolutely special. The little things he does on tape oftentimes are going to be overlooked, but this guy's an absolute star, and he's had a lot of success against some of the best defensive linemen in the country. And we're going to look at some of that tape as we kind of go over the course of this video. But let's talk about what makes Membou such a really good football player. And it's the little things that make this guy a good player. So he's going to get out of his stance here. He's going to make contact with number 40. He's going to jump set this because it's a play action in the backfield. And notice how number 40 is going to get the right arm into Membou. And look at the tackle here, snatch it down with the left hand right there. And that snatch is a little movement, but this is some of the little things this guy does that allows him to win. And you're going to see this over the course of this video. Now, of course, as I mentioned, the technique is really good. And there's so many snaps like this on tape where he's going to just do a really nice job being able to beat the guy in front of him. Now, the arm length is something that some people had concerns about prior to the Senior Bowl, but Armand Membou did end up going to the Senior Bowl. And he did end up doing his measurements. Now, he didn't play in the actual game, but he did the measurements. Height-wise, he was about 6'3.5". Arm length checked out. I think it was like 34 inches. So he should be theoretically able to play tackle in the NFL, and it will be interesting to see which teams actually value him as a tackle, because from the tape, it looks really good. And I want to show you guys what happens within this play, and I want to kind of explain it thoroughly a little bit. So you're going to get Brady Cook, the quarterback, here to play action towards the right of your screen, right? To the left of the formation, right of your screen. And because it's a play action to the right of your screen, the offensive linemen have to sell it in a way where the defensive linemen think it's a run towards that same side. So the right tackle here is going to step downwards. You see the left foot of the right tackle come forward, and that right there is going to make the defensive end think this is some sort of run, and the defensive end is going to play the run first. So instead of pass rushing and getting upfield, the defensive end is going to get his hands to the inside of Armand Membou. And the right tackle on this one is going to end up snatching and breaking the contact. This guy snatching down and breaking contact and gaining leverage, it seems like this is just second nature to Membou. Right, it seems like this is something he just knows how to do, and it's something that he's kind of perfected. And I think that's one of the reasons why teams really like this guy's tape. Now, of course, one of the things teams really like with Armand Membou is the fact that this guy plays in the SEC, and he has tape out there against some of the top defensive linemen in the country. Not just this year, but last year as well, right? Teams like Georgia, some of the other teams that they've kind of played against over the past couple of seasons, Alabama, Boston College, Texas A&M. And this guy's put out really good tape. And again, the technique that he plays with, it's just so second nature. And you almost miss it unless it's kind of pointed out. And here's another example of that. Now, this play here is a really nice rep of the movement that this guy has. You know, offensive tackles in the NFL lose reps. That's going to be a given. Every guy you go up against is super talented. But how do you recover against guys where you end up losing? And this is a good example of that. So it's a play action once again. So Membou is going to go out towards number 4. He's almost going to jump set this. And as he makes contact with the defensive end here, the defensive end's going to put the hands to the inside. And Membou with the right hand this time is going to snatch it down. And it's hard to kind of tell, but if you really slow it down, you might be able to kind of see it right there. You see the left arm of number 4 ends up going inside. And the reason why is because Membou with his right hand is going to end up snatching that downwards. Now, as this happens, number 4 is going to pull with the right hand forward as that trap happens, and you can kind of see number 4 ends up hitting the corner. Now, this is a good spot to be in if you're a defensive end, because once you hit that corner, you might be able to fight through and potentially get to the quarterback. However, Membou does a really good job on this one to be able to recover. He's going to end up opening up the right hip, and as he opens up the right hip, you'll see it right there as he opens up that right hip. The left arm, the feet, is going to move really nicely, and he just puts himself in a really good spot. And then he's going to end up just finishing number 4. He's going to put him down on the ground. That's a really good rep once again by the tackle. Again, the movement that Armand Membou has had is absolutely incredible. The tape he's put out there is phenomenal. And of course, he's done it at the highest competition. Now, sometimes when you have offensive tackles that are not very tall, maybe they're not very long, sometimes they'll struggle anchoring down, and that's not the case with Membou. This guy does a really good job with the power, the physicality. He does a really good job with the technique, and it all just comes really well together. You see plays like this where he's able to put people down, he's able to turn people. And generally speaking, Membou doesn't really struggle to anchor down, which you can't say that about every single offensive lineman out there. Will Campbell's a guy that kind of struggles at times to anchor. Even a guy like Kelvin Banks Jr. at times struggles to anchor. The Missouri right tackle does not struggle to anchor. He does a really, really nice job. Alrighty, guys, I want to go ahead and switch focus. I want to get into the Texas A&M game, specifically because of the fact that Texas A&M has a ton of really, really good defensive linemen. They have Nick Scorton, who I think has gotten a lot of hype up to this point. Scorton, I think, is probably going to be a first-round pick. But then they have Shedeur Stewart as well, who some people think is arguably the best defensive end coming out of this class. People say he has Myles Garrett potential. He's 281 pounds. He's super quick, super explosive, absolute phenomenal strength. But he doesn't have the technique yet, which is something he'll have to develop. But some people think this could be the number 1 overall pick, right? And we're early in the process still. It's February 21st, so don't hold me if that doesn't happen. But the hype has started for him as well. And then Texas A&M has a couple other defensive linemen. Number 18 is pretty solid as well. I want to show you guys just a bunch of reps where this guy goes up against Shedeur Stewart as well as Scorton, right? This one's a pretty nice job being able to kind of handle that power. You're going to see that number 4 is going to end up kind of slipping here. He's going to end up trying to hit him with the rip move towards the outside. It's almost a ghost move. He's going to get the right hand into the right tackle on this one. And then he's going to try to utilize the ghost, kind of changing the body angle, drops the hips, tries to bend, and it just does not work. So really, really good job right here by Membou to be able to make contact, shut it down, and just straight up puts Stewart into the ground. So really, really nice rep. Let's get into the next snap. You got another one here. Just a really, really good job once again. It's a true one-on-one situation. And keep in mind, I've filtered out plays that don't matter as much, right? We don't care when it's a one-step drop. We care about the deep throws to shot plays, the structured routes downfield. And on those plays, right, it's a pretty nice job by Membou to be able to kind of shut it down. You're going to see him get physical on this one, and he's going to drop the anchor as well. Does a really nice job. Hands are going to be a little wide, but sometimes it works, right? Utilize the different techniques. You can snatch down, as we've kind of seen this guy do. Get physical, right? Just straight up get right into this guy. I'm going to show you guys a play here a little bit later on where he goes up against, I believe it's Nick Scorton. He's going to do a really nice job anchoring, just get super, super low. But these are the type of reps that NFL scouts have been watching with Membou, and this is why some people think he's the best tackle coming out of this class. All right, the tape is really, really, really good. He has so many high-quality wins against so many good opponents. Truth be told, this was the tape that I watched, and I wasn't even watching the right tackle here. I was watching number 18, who's actually a backup defensive lineman for Texas A&M. And as I was watching him, Membou continued to dominate everybody that he went up against, right? Nick Scorton was getting dominated. And to me, it's one of those things where you don't generally see that happen. But because Membou was able to kind of do that, it really rose that draft stock of his. And you can see on this one here, it's him going up against Nick Scorton. Again, a lot of people really, really like Scorton's tape early on in the process. And Membou really held his own once again against him as well. Membou just does a really, really good job. The hands land perfectly. Nick Scorton's going to try to left-hand swipe, right arm over the top. It just doesn't work, man. You see that absolutely phenomenal rep. Now, he does get a little bit of running back help, but generally speaking, he's able to really, really hold his own. On this one here, Scorton's going to try to hit him with an outside to back to the inside, a speed to power, and Membou shuts it down. Now, he does get a little bit of help from the guard, but just think about the movement and the footwork that you need to be able to shut this down right here. Think about this. Scorton starts upfield. He's going to jump back to the inside. Right arm's going to end up pinning the backside, left arm rip, and it just is not going to work, right? To me, Membou does a really good job being able to kind of catch it, and the guard ends up being in a pretty good spot because Membou slows down Scorton enough. To me, just a really, really good job being able to move and stay in front of Scorton on this rep. Really, really solid job right there. Here's another one. This time he's going to go up against Shedeur Stewart. Now, Membou does end up getting pushed back on this one a little bit. But keep in mind, the guy he's going up against might be a top 10 pick. Right? Shedeur Stewart might end up being the first defensive end taken. His hype has, the hype, I should say, has been through the roof, right? A pretty nice job considering the fact you're in a one-on-one island. You're not going to get the help. You got two guys lined up over both guards. You're in a true one-on-one situation against a top 10 pick, right? But again, I want to show you guys some more reps where he went up against some of these guys, right? Because these are the top guys coming out this year. You're going to get Scorton going up against Membou on this one. I think Scorton's still a first-round prospect as well. He has really, really good power. And you're going to see Membou really drop that anchor on this one. You're going to see him do a really, really nice shot locking in with Scorton. You're going to see Scorton's going to try to power. He does try to hezzy initially right there. Doesn't really do much. Membou just stays right on top of it. Locks in, and then look at Membou drop the hips and drop the anchor. I mean, look at that. Now, it does look like Scorton might have given up here a little bit. You got the running back right there, about a chip potentially. But Membou drops the hips, right? And he's going to try to anchor down on this one. So it's a pretty good job. You can definitely see it on tape. How he's able to get low to stop power. So it's a pretty good job right there. Alrighty, guys, let's go ahead and switch focus. Let's get into the South Carolina tape. If you guys don't know this, South Carolina has 2 defensive ends. One is arguably a top 64 player in Kyle Kennard. Number 6, you see Membou going up against him on this one. Very, very, very twitchy athlete. And Membou had a really good game against him. He had a couple reps against Deion Stewart, number 5. Deion Stewart is going to be the number 1 overall pick whenever that time comes. 6'5", super, super explosive and twitchy. Deion Stewart, to me, is the next Myles Garrett kind of player, right? Very, very good football player. He is a true freshman, so you'll see some reps, and of course, the right tackle is going to end up beating him. But I'm excited to get into some of these South Carolina reps as well, because there's some really, really good things that this guy's put out on tape. Let's get right into this. You're going to get a really nice rep here by the right tackle. You're going to see Membou do a really nice job with the movement on this one, and he's going to end up winning this rep. Again, one of the things that we've talked about multiple times at this point is just how this guy moves, right? He does a really nice job of being able to get in front of guys. On this one here, Kyle Kennard's going to end up going towards the inside. Membou's going to mirror that. The defensive end's going to try to go back to the outside. And look at Membou just get right back in front of it. To me, that's a really, really nice shot. Defensive linemen are always going to try to set up offensive linemen with different moves. You start a pass rush towards the inside. You jump to the outside. You swat with the left hand, as Kennard does on this one. Right arm comes over the top. But again, Membou just stays right in front of it. And he ends up just shutting this one down. This is a really, really nice rep here by the right tackle to be able to mirror, stay in front of this guy, shut it down, and obviously they're going to give the quarterback the ability to throw the ball downfield. Just a really, really nice rep. On tape, I don't think you would see a guy that's better than Armand Membou in this class. To me, this guy is obviously the best tackle coming out, and I definitely do not have a higher grade on any other offensive tackle. This guy's definitely going to be arguably the first tackle taken. Some people will not value him as an offensive tackle, but again, I think he's going to end up going in the top 15 regardless. The movement, the technique, all of it looks really, really good. And of course, we've only really looked at his pass blocking up to this point. But trust me when I say this, he's not only good as a pass blocker. That's obviously going to be his biggest strength because he is obviously very, very talented. Snatch absolutely has fine-tuned it. Probably not a better player, maybe even looking in the NFL, that has fine-tuned it as much as this guy has, as effectively as he utilizes that move. But he's not only a guy that's known for the pass blocking, right? That's just where it really flashes on tape. But this guy's really, really good when it comes to run blocking as well. And I'll just show you guys a couple of snaps. On this one here, you're going to get an outside run towards the left. He's going to have a reach block on the guy lined up right in front of him. He's going to do a really nice job cutting him off, and you're going to open up a nice lane. And the run here hits for 11 yards. Here's another one where he's going to end up pushing the defensive end out of the gap. It's a really nice job on this inside zone to be able to generate a little bit of movement. He uses the technique to put this guy into the ground towards the end of this. And if you guys don't know, that's a pretty good defensive end right there. Landon Jackson, one of the better defensive linemen coming out of this class. You see Membou just straight up put his ass into the ground on that one. So pretty nice rep. Here's another one where you're going to get split zone towards the inside. The right tackle here is going to make contact with this defensive end. And then look at him drive this guy out of there. This Auburn defensive lineman's a pretty good football player. And the right tackle here is going to straight up drive him out of the gap. To me, this guy does not struggle with power. And you would think that because of the height, he's a guy that would struggle with power. And that's definitely not the case with Membou. This guy moves people at the point of attack. And that's part of why I think Membou is going to end up becoming a really, really good offensive lineman in the NFL. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It was obviously a little bit different than the general videos that we do on this channel. But I wanted to get into this guy's tape, especially in pass blocking, because as a starting tackle, you have to be able to anchor down. This guy shows everything on tape. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time with another video.